Today we are dealing with a 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan, and as you can see, the check engine light is on. We're going to run the code reader on it to see what code it is. P0128. Pretty common. It says coolant thermostat is sensing coolant temperature that's below the thermostat's regulated temperature. Let's also check the pending code just in case. There are no pending codes, so all we have is this code, coolant thermostat P0128. So it's very obvious that it's a coolant thermostat code. It may not be the thermostat, it could also be the coolant temperature sensor itself could be sending wrong signal, but the first thing we should try is to change the thermostat itself. One thing to understand here, why this code comes on is because for the car to heat up very quickly when you start the car, there is something called a close cycle where the thermostat will be closed and then the coolant will be circling in a smaller loop. And just imagine if the thermostat doesn't close, then the coolant automatically goes into a longer loop into your radiator and all that and comes back up, and that creates a slow heating process, and the temperature sensor is sensing that and saying, hey, the temperature of the coolant is lower than it's supposed to be when you just started the car and you're trying to heat up fast to get the heat and an operating temperature for the engine. And that's what this code is about, and we're going to see how we can fix this. Today we're going to see how to replace a thermostat on a 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan. This goes for all Chrysler products pretty much between 2006 all the way to 2017, because they use the same thermostat and same cooling system. Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, Jeep, all of them the same. So in here, open the hood and you could see the thermostat's location right here. All we have to do is take out this area, the air box and out, and then we'll be able to get a better look at how to replace the thermostat. Basically, that thing unscrews out. Take the hose out, drain all the fluid, and then we can replace it with a new part. So let's see how we can do that. Alright, here's the new thermostat from AutoZone, part number 90803DL, and as you can see, it comes with the housing, so it makes it easier. All we have to do is undo the hose here and take these two bolts off, and then the old one comes out and the new one screws back in. Heard that it's a pain to remove these hoses, but with the right tool should be possible. Alright, let's get started. Alright, the first step is to make sure that we follow some safety precautions before we get started. First, we need to drain the fluid. Before we drain the fluid, we'll make sure it's not in high pressure. So in order to do that, just make sure that there's not enough pressure in the hose. You're able to squeeze it and then remove the cap. That way you're not hit with the hot steam in your face. Alright, let's bleed the car. Alright, straight to the drain plug. We're going to drain the coolant fluid, as you can see, to right below the windshield washer fluid. Down here is that petcock, a drain valve. Use a flathead screwdriver to turn the cap. Right below the coolant reservoir, you see the drain plug. Make sure you have the capture pan right below that, because it does come under a lot of pressure if the car is even relatively warm. Let's start taking these things apart. Power steering, 13mm bolt and nut. That comes right off. Watch out. Once this is out, there should be enough room to stick a wrench down there with the extension, and believe it's a 10mm bolt, as you can see down here, and then there's one underneath just like that, so right here. Alright, take the 10mm bolt right off the top, and the harder part is to do the one on the bottom. So the bottom one is a little tricky, but you got to feel it and do it by feeling where the bolt is. Alright, it's loose, coming off. Oh! Got it, sure. Alright, there's our 10mm bottom bolt. Let's bring the catch pan under here just in case some coolant comes out of that. Both bolts are out.
Splash.
All right, no coolant out. All right, there's a rubber washer there. Make sure you grab that as well. All right, there's some all right, once we take it out, then it's kind of easier to tackle the removal of the hose from the thermostat when it's not down there. So let's just do that. First thing, take the clamp off with the pliers. There are some special tools for this as well if you have access to it. In this case, we just use pliers. Alright, clamp is removed and it comes right off. Not bad. Alright, once the new thermostat is in, now clamp it back so that it's nice and tight. Alright, let's stick it back in. Put the top bolt first because that's easier.
This is the top, right?
Yep, exactly. Alright, hand tighten it with a 10mm socket, and then you can put a quarter turn after that. Make sure the o-ring is in place. Alright, we are using a deep socket now. Last quarter turn. Be gentle because it's a plastic housing, supposed to be reinforced with metal, but I'm not sure, so be gentle with how much you torque it. Just snug and then quarter turn. There you go, perfect. Looks good. Now we can tighten the bleeder screw and start filling. Alright, start filling it after the drain plug is tight. Tighten the drain plug and then come back and fill this a little at a time. Dodge takes a special coolant. Look for the orange one. We're going to put a whole gallon and then wait to see the level and then add more. Definitely more than a gallon came out. It's full, so you need to wait a little bit and make sure it slowly goes down and then add a little more. Opening the bleeder screw, you can see the level going down to that little bit and then add a little more fluid. Alright, so one final test, thermostat is changed, coolant is full. Now start the car and check the needle to see if it comes up to optimal temperature. On the code reader side, we are monitoring the temperature. It's up to 149, around 200. It should go from closed loop to open loop.
And keep in mind it's plastic, only a quarter turn tight.
Exactly. So once you hand in the pan.
It didn't go splash.
Alright, let's grab the 10mm socket. This is how you lose every 10mm socket. Alright, reaching down. There it is. Found it.
You need this?
Nope. Precious 10mm.